Hello, everyone. Welcome to SportsKhabri for this post-match analysis of sorts. We've just finished our first ISL clash of the season. It was Kerala Blasters versus BFC. Guys, first thoughts on it, Arnava?
Well,
Who
first thought
won for the
is
Blasters?
deserving win for the Blasters in the end. I think BFC did not do enough to deserve a point, to be very honest. I think we can discuss a little later if the coach didn't play his best 11. That could be something to talk about. And the atmosphere was brilliant, and that's something that one has to say. Great to see that they opened up the third tier. This one camera position where the camera was shaking. Again, we could look at it from another perspective and say, listen, there's a security issue in there. But overall, I'd say great atmosphere. Congratulations, Kerala Blasters, deserving winner. And yeah, we are into ISL 10.
Yeah. Hi, Anurag. Well, Harry, first thoughts on the game?
Definitely electrifying atmosphere, no doubt about that. And I think good game. It was a good game. And I also surprised with the starting 11 of Bengaluru FC, to be honest. It's I think Simon Grayson is the Simeone of ISL. The lineup he has gone with. All the defensive player. In midfield also, he gone with Rohit Kumar, Suresh Wangjam and Windrop. So I think that's the more surprising for me. I think he has gone all defensive from starting. So I don't think so कि आप ब्लेम कर सकते हो. नो डाउट केरला ब्लास्टर के दोनों गोल जो आए हैं यहाँ पे बेंगलुरु की इंडिविजुअल मिस्टेक से ही आए हैं. देखिए first goal is own goal and second is Gurpreet's mistake. But I think the intensity maintained throughout the game by Kerala Blaster. I think that's the impressive. And I think they are also gone with Mohammad Eman. So he also played really, really well. I think so. Overall, I think very good game. I think both the side have put up a very good intensity in the match and entertaining match, I would say. But I think Kerala Bengaluru FC's tactics मतलब मेरे को समझ में नहीं आई कि Simon Grayson, what were the thoughts behind this all defensive lineup?
True, fair enough. Shan, any standout performers for you from this game?
See, I was praising Probir a lot when I was seeing him play today. But last 10-15 minutes, Probir was again back to normal. Very much. He was playing very nice, actually. I think something he was there to prove himself there. And I think he did a pretty good job in some. I think he did a very good blocking at a 70th minute mark. I think when there was a good shot taken by an KBFC player. I think deservingly, I think they actually, I would say the mistakes done by BFC caused them this game. Tactical mistakes, on-field mistakes, and that is the difference between the two sides after 90 minutes. But it's a good game. First game, KBFC really dominated the game. Too much of defensive tactics, as Rahul would be was saying yesterday when I saw the stream later, and he has said it previously also. The game what BFC is trying to play is not suiting that style which they play, and that is something is a concern. You may have the success, but it's too early to first match gone. But I think individual brilliance se bhi zyada jo what I feel what costed them the game is the error they have made in the field, and that is it's all about Gurpreet Singh Sandhu. They have made many errors, tactical errors in the game, and that has cost them the game. So that is the difference between the two sides.
By the way, my prediction was 2-1 to KBFC, and it was
okay.
good.
Right. Great, way.
Yeah, Aditya saying if these two teams play like this, then Mumbai and Mohan Bagan will thrash them.
Definitely, I agree. I agree with Aditya. I think defensive, both the teams look not that great. I think, but first match, so I think थोड़ा सा हम बोल सकते कि यहाँ पे ग्रूव में आने के लिए या फिर सेटल होने में टाइम लगेगा. बट डेफिनेटली आई थिंक डिफेंसिव लाइन दोनों की टीमों की मेरे को भी थोड़ी सी शेकी लगी. आई थिंक काफी ज्यादा स्पेसेस आप दे रहे और इंडिविजुअल मिस्टेक भी हो रही है. जैसे आई थिंक सेन बिल्कुल सही बोला कि प्रबीर दास जिस तरह से मतलब टीम को मोटिवेट कर रहा था, सारी चीजें कर रहा था, मतलब लग रहा था कि भाई नहीं ही इज ऑन फायर और अपने प्रीवियस क्लब के सामने सारी चीजें. लेकिन जो सेकंड गोल हुआ उसमें मतलब उसी के वो मुंह से मतलब पूरा क्या बोलते कि वो मुंह बना. सो आई थिंक सॉरी फॉर जो आई थिंक बेंगलुरु एफसी ने जो गोल किया वो, तो आई थिंक
Yeah.
तो दोनों ही टीमों का मेरे को डिफेंसिव लाइन तो मेरे को भी लगा कि दे नीड्स टू मतलब लेट्स होप कि उनके जो मतलब बाकी जैसे क्या बोलते कि लेस्कोविच अभी केरला ब्लास्टर के लिए मतलब अभी साइड लाइन पे थे, तो अगर वो आते हैं तो किस तरह से होता है. बाकी आई थिंक डिफेंसिव एरियाज वेयर दे आई थिंक नीड टू सोलिडिफाइड.
That's true. Anurag, you're saying Roshan was on fire. I think he was on fire in the first half when he was playing on the right side. Moved to the left in the second half. Didn't look as comfortable. Again, yeah, I agree. Shiva was isolated. He's not a number 9. You can't play him as that lone number 9. He will not win you headers against strong defenders. I think Simon Grayson got it wrong there. If Shiva has to play as a striker, he has to play as a second striker off another person, somebody like Curtis Main. He enjoyed a lot more of the ball when he came on. And yeah, it's just tactically, I think he got it wrong. You can't play Shiva as that lone striker. And clearly, he could not keep up with the physical centre backs that Kerala had. Yeah. Well, on the goals, guys, the first one, Kezia Veendorp own goal. Nawab, your thoughts on that? Kind of just standing there, he's not really gone for it. What do you make of it?
Those things happen, right? After a corner, there's a little confusion in the box. No blame. You don't that millisecond. You don't even have that millisecond to react. So therefore, those kind of things happen. It was interesting to see Danish Farooq, how he was celebrating the goal. Another one of those. There are quite a few players I realized who have played for now both sides. So that was quite interesting to see. I think and that did open up the game. And then Gopit Singh Sandhu with that mistake, I guess a few East Bengal fans will be reminded of 2013 Kalyani versus United Sports at the time, and which made them lose the I-League title. And I think if BFC had not conceded a second, I think it could have been an interesting game. And as Rahul, as you've said, maybe the substitutions could have come a little earlier, because the substitutions were very positive substitutions, and you directly saw how he took charge of the game, how he took charge of the ball, how he took charge of all the dead ball situations. Curtis Main wanted to prove something as well, but you also saw that Parag was an issue at the back. He was not as stable as a Jovanovic. So that's the tricky part. How do you get the balance? Because I thought there were a few players. I didn't think Rohit and Suresh had the best of their games, to be very honest. I think Vendorp was the guy who was sort of keeping that together. And I think the coach has some work to do. Again, you see also a little bit of rustiness. While on the other side, the Blasters, with all those players missing, credit to the Blasters. Because Diamantakos not there up front, Leskovic at the back, even though Drincic played a strong game, played a solid game at the back. Rahul Kepi missing. I think Rahul Kepi adds something as well. So therefore, the Blasters could get stronger, but I still see other teams stronger than the Blasters at the moment. Even BFC normally, but again, if BFC play like this looked like a repeat from the start of last season. It was not the end of last season, so to say, where BFC really got their act together. And of course, you saw one factor, which you saw in China today, is a certain Mr. Chhetri, right? So I think this would have been an interesting game for Sunil to potentially to come on late and maybe do something, because I think Curtis Main showed that. Again, another 5-7 minutes, maybe BFC would have come back, because the Blasters looked in the last 10-15 minutes vulnerable.
Yeah. And Arnav, I just wanted to add, I think it would have been if Sunil Chhetri was there, I think he would have started as the number 9. If Simon Grayson wants to go with 3 foreigners, 1 in defensive midfield and 2 centre backs, that gives you the license to play Sunil Chhetri up top and push Shiva wide. He had to pay Namgal Bhutia on one of the wings because of that, and we saw him struggle. He was not at his best. He doesn't seem like it comes naturally to him. if Sunil Chhetri was there, he would have probably played as a 9, and allowing Shiva to play wide is probably the ideal situation and an ideal scenario for BFC going into any away fixture. But yeah.
Ryan Williams I also
Yeah.
find isolated in today's match. I didn't find मतलब और समझ में नहीं आया मेरे को कि इतना डिफेंसिव क्यों चले गए मतलब साइमन ग्रेसन कि ना तो कर्टिस मैन डाला आपने ना तो जावी हर्नांडिस डाला, दोनों में से कोई नहीं। मतलब आपने मिडफील्ड भी मतलब समझ में आया कि चलो आप बैकलाइन तो आप जा ही रहे हो, लेकिन मिडफील्ड में भी आप एक भी मतलब तीनों ही आप देखिए, रोहित, सुरेश एंड विंड्रोफ, तीनों ही डिफेंसिव मिडफील्डर के टाइप ही है। कोई मतलब कोई क्रिएटर था ही नहीं मतलब बेसिकली।
Exactly. Exactly. I think first away fixture, he's thinking to himself, I don't want to lose this game. I think that's what's on his mind. It's already negative, which was the problem with Simon Grayson last season. And hopefully that changes. Hopefully he's not scared to play Harvey. He has to play Harvey. He has to play in the team. I actually like Ryan Williams, whatever he provided. But he's got to play Harvey. He's the guy who is going to create stuff. Even if you don't play Curtis Main, it's okay, but you have to start Harvey. But yeah, guys, what about Kerala Blasters? How do you think they'll fare against some of the big boys? Aditya's asking what happens to the Blasters when they play Mohun Bagan and Mumbai City. How do you think they'll? Do you see any changes in tactics and things like that?
They have played well, bhai. Today, if you see their game, they have played really well, and they have dominated this game. It would have been very unlucky if they would have lost 3 points here. This was a game they should have got 3 points by the way they have played this game, executed their plans basically, and if they are defensively, defense is not a problem for KBFC. I think the problem which they can face is scoring goals up front. That is a concern for me if going forward. I don't say concern. I am not so confident. I'm confident about their defense lineup, their midfield lineup, but I think the up front, I don't know what is the status of Ishant's injury right now, and how much time he will take to come. And I don't know he's part of the 11 starting 11 squad.
He is back into the training. He and Dimantakos both back into the trainings.
Back in the training. So hopefully, I think by next game, if he's there, I expect that they can score goals. But till now, scoring goals will be the key to get the 3 points against good teams. So that is the only thing I think they can look at. But KBFC have always mentioned that this team is a balanced team. While they were making the team, they have let go Sahal Abdul Samad. They have let go many people. Giselle Canario, who could have played for for BFC, but they've gotten good players, leaders. Which Aunavoda, and we have discussed in many places that Hiren was also there, part of the discussion. Rahul, I think you were also there when we discussed that Pritham or Prabir is those kind of material who brings out the leadership in not on the ground but also in their leaders in the dressing room, and that is KBFC needed those heroes. They've got those people. I think I expect KBFC to give a good fight to be in top 6 this time. So let's see. It depends on few games, but against Mumbai and Mohun Bagan, they have to play very well and they have to score goals, and that is the thing they need to look at.
I think Pritham Kotal's performance also today would have gone under the radar. Not a lot of people would have noticed it. I think he was very solid though. Just that kind of leader's performance. Anurag, again, like I think I mentioned this. I think Simon Grayson's gone with 11 of this sort because it was an away fixture. He wanted to be a little more defensive. Hopefully that's not the case when we go back home. But yeah, second goal, Gurpreet Singh Sandhu. Harry, how do you react to goalkeeper mistakes? Because it's weird because you don't want to get on their backs too much because they're already targeted.
Goalkeepers, whenever any goalkeeper in the world do mistakes, look very, very bad. Simple as that. So that's the thing with goalkeepers. And fans remember also for a long time. Last night we already seen with Manchester United also Onana's mistake. So this happens with the best goalkeepers also. And in the in the moment of the game, I think there is if keeper lose little bit of a focus, then that cost most. Simple as that. If a midfielder or you can say ki defender lose, then there is a chance ki you can get away with it. But with keeper, there is a 99% chances ki you will end up in a goal. So that's the thing with the keeper's mistake, and that's why it's look very very bad. But with caliber of keeper like Gurpreet Singh Sandhu, we generally not associate with this type of mistake. But I think he will be टेक लेसन फ्रॉम दिस. एंड आई थिंक एड्रियन लूना की बेहतरीन, आप देखिए वो मिडफील्ड जिस तरह से उसने मतलब वहां पे क्या बोलते हैं कि वो प्रेस किया है. आई थिंक दैट्स अ ग्रेट टू सी कि यू हैव टू go for it whenever you see a possibilities. And I think throughout the game, for me, Kerala Blasters' best player was obviously Adrian Luna. I think the way he's going everywhere, I think that's great to see. But Gurpreet Sandhu, that's I think he also should not. I would say कि want to remember, or you can say कि
Adama, because I'm saying Simon Grayson to be the first coach to be sacked this season. A little too early to make those shouts, but do you think there's a potential that he could be the first sacking of the season?
It's too early. We're talking about this. Today is match day 1. I would think that BFC has to be given time, as every other team has to be given. But Grayson is under certain pressure. I think the pressure is building from the fan base. It is building also from the management, most probably also in regard to style of play. And the question is, can he change that? I think that might be a reason rather than anything else which could see him get the sack. But again, last season he was one game away of getting sacked, and then he got to the final. And again, they won the Durand Cup, and they got also into the Super Cup final. So from that perspective, I think it was very very successful season. But are they really happy with the coach? And that's the big question for BFC. Have you got the coach that you need and that you want to play what you want to play? And that I find is very, very, very difficult.
Yeah, fair enough. Yes. Kumar saying Ayman was impressive. Ayman will replace Abdul Sahal Samad. Shayan, what do you think? He was very good today. I think probably one of the standout players. But do you think that's a bit too far, saying he'll replace Sahal?
I think only one game we can't. Today he had a very good game. I must admit that. But see, comparing with him and Sahal, I think Sahal is a very good player. He's a proven player for KBFC and has been doing good job for KBFC until last season. So it's too early. One game is not. It's not perfect for anybody to judge a person and compare with a national team regular like Sahal. So he has played well. His sense, what I saw, he was sense. His correctly said tactical sense was good with the ball. He has brain in his mind. His brain was working properly, which I don't often see on many of the players. His brain was working perfectly. But what I feel, replacing Sahal, it will take time because Sahal had that fan following and everything with him also. That added that value to the team. So he has played nice. He has played nice, and hope he does this kind of performances more often so that he becomes a strong pillar for KBFC in coming years.
There was a nice little moment in this game as well when Adrian Luna stood over the ball. Javi was also having a bit of fun. He smiled and he was like, "I'm going to take this quick." And the referee also saw the funny side of things. Nice little nod back to last season. Harry, what do you make of that moment?
I think Adrian Luna himself in a recent interview accepted that if I was there, I also might go for it. So I think there's some it up. And I think the positive we will take out from that moment is it create a new rivalry. So that's what we needed. Simple as that. And that's also one of the positive is at that time the VR discussion, or you can say refereeing discussion also started. So these are the things we always from this type of event we have to look for, and always this type of event remember for a long time. So it's a good for Indian football actually that event was happened, not for a Kerala Blaster obviously because they are facing financially and everything. But I think as a general football fan, I think that's the event which created much more hype for Indian football in this short span. So that's the positive about that. And I think now it's for fan base bhi, I think सिवाय कि केरला ब्लास्टर के, I think जनरल फैन बेस आर ओके विद दैट. मतलब वो उसको जो हुआ था उससे अब उतना ज्यादा वो क्या बोलते कि नहीं है कि भाई ये होना चाहिए था कि नहीं चाहिए. वो फैंस धीरे धीरे मतलब वो भी हो जाते हैं कि भूल जाते हैं, सारी चीजें हो जाती है. तो आई थिंक सही है, फन मोमेंट.
Yeah, Gazab, you're saying you discussed the penalty calls. I don't remember too many. I think there was this one with Drinkic. It hit his
Dinchich, I
somewhat
think
arm.
that was a penalty. That was a
That wasn't
penalty
a
for
penalty.
me, I think.
From one angle, no, one
Depends.
angle it showed
Depends.
it hit his stomach.
Again, there are 2 points. I think Drinkic, are we talking about the one where Damjanovic was holding him, or are we talking about the handball?
Yes, Damiano. I am talking about Damjanovic holding him.
Yeah.
Where he
The
get
handball,
headed.
That was a
handball
penalty.
wasn't.
That was a penalty.
Handball तो
Handball
नहीं था.
wasn't.
Handball तो नहीं था.
Handball nahi tha. Also,
Oh.
Daisuke, the situation where Probit Das went ballistic, that happened outside of the box.
वो तो outside था.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly.
and I want to come back to the Adrian Luna thing of standing on the ball. I give huge credit to Adrian Luna to come out now and say this, but I also say this: he could have said this a few months ago. You know, because we go back to the situation that all of this, whatever has happened around it, and all has happened. And you saw after the match, the KBFC fans shouting Luna, Luna. Ivan, right? The point here is now, they've won this. They've had a positive start. But this will not be forgotten because this is now part of the rivalry between these two clubs. That episode, and it's an episode. It's It's like how many episodes East Bengal and Mohun Bagan have in their rivalry. I thought again, and the referee overall, to me, had a very, very good game. Not only him, but also the linesman. We can talk about this Damjanovic Drinkic thing. I think that, penalty. But otherwise, I don't know. And that is the point. So the point here is that we've spoken so much about referees in the ISL. Our national team has been speaking about referees. CFL, everyone is talking about referees of not doing this, doing that. And I think in this match, again, if BFC had won or gotten a draw, maybe the discussion now would be different. Because then the Drinkic episode would have been, come to the fore. But still, I will say respect, well done by the ref, not only by the referee, but by his assistants as well. The only thing which I would say the referees need to be harsher with is this complaining to the referee.
Yeah.
I mean, Adrian Luna was on the verge of hitting out at the referee. I think he could have given him I saw that recently in Germany in our local league, two cards in 3 seconds, right? When the BFC players were there. And again, Parashrivas, there was no contact at all. What the hell are you talking about? There was no contact of a KBFC player.
No contact.
And then 5 players are hounding the referee. This is the time where the referee needs to give these players a card. In his own interest. So therefore, that's the only thing. But I would overall say, well done by the ref. Great atmosphere. Good advertisement for Indian football, even though, again, it's the first game of the season. I think we have to be also realistic that if you will not see the best game in the first game. So I think that is, if someone is thinking that, then you're wrong. So therefore, overall, brilliant. And then bring on the next matches.
Yeah. Agnev, he's asking, how do you see BFC attacking lineup? Do you see them missing a good number 10? I think Harvey is that guy. You have to play him. You just have to play him. Yeah, he wasn't there today. Like Arnava mentioned, when he got on, he was all over this. He was all over set pieces. He was that conductor. He was able to play long. He was able to play short. Pretty much do what he wanted, like he always does. So I think we missed him today, and yeah. But guys, don't you think this whole corner thing? I think it was a penalty, the Damjanovic one, where he
That was a
held on
penalty.
to yeah, where he held
Drinkic.
on to Drinkic. But
Uh,
we see this all around the world. Why do you think it happens? Because there's so much contact, especially on corners, and referees just seem to let it slide when it's even when it's blatant. Why do you guys think this happens? Because it's always puzzled me, and I never seem to understand why people get away with it. But it's an obvious error. Like I've seen people hugging each other in corners. One guy's pulling one some shorts, shirt, everything, and nothing happens. Shan, why do you think this happens? It happens all around the world. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
I just wanted to say
How about
again.
what
I
was this?
played. I wanted to add something because we played Friday. Some ex-Bundesliga players with our sort of local guys, and even we were doing that on the field. And a pro referee said, "Guys, hands away." And again, it happens. You do it. You in a corner, your hands are there. Your hands are there. You're trying to block it. And if you saw, for example, also when Curtis Main came on, Curtis Main and Pritham Kotal, they were literally pulling each other. Whatever I was able to watch on the footage, right? Proby was getting into act. Suddenly you see Damjanovic in the back pushing Curtis Main sort of into the guys. So this pushing and shoving happens. What in this case is different, Damjanovic was doing wrestling, I don't know, wrestling, rugby, whatever you want to call it. That is too much. So that pulling, shoving, tugging and all that happens in the box. And if you don't allow it, don't play football. Because I feel it is part and parcel of football, right? Out of own experience. The point here is that these things happen. The question is, where is the referee standing? Does he have a clear-cut view? And that is very often the problem. If you don't have a clear-cut view on the situation, you will not be able to see it. Or are you looking at something else on the field? Again, this is a very quick game. It's a very fast game. Eye coordination is a very tough thing on it. So I will not blame the referee for it. Again, we can go back to the discussion. Why is there no VAR light? Why is there no VAR? That discussion has died out completely. But again, I wouldn't blame the referee. It's a mistake, yes, 100%. But I think we'll see some more of these as well over the season.
What's your opinion, Rahul, on this Anurag Kaushik's comment?
Yeah. This one, when you play reactive kind of football, your counter attack has to be on point. But today, I feel BFC were not really quick in transition. I think the issue here, Anurag, again, like I think we've spoken about this. For us to play counter-attacking kind of football, you need kind of two guys up top, or the other team has to be playing a high line. If you want to play, say, Shiva alone, they have to be playing a high line so that he can run in behind, the space in behind. If that's not happening, then you need two guys. One guy who can flick the ball on for the runner. And Kerala weren't playing a high line. They were sitting off us. They let us have the ball when we had it. They didn't press too much. So in these kind of situations, it's important for us to have another guy in the middle who is that physical presence. He can battle with centre halves and win those headers. We didn't have that today. And there wasn't really much we could do. There weren't really too many opportunities for us to counter. Again, Kerala weren't playing too high. So it wasn't a game for Shiva to be playing as a lone number 9. I just think that's what it is. If regardless of whether we want to play counter,
I still think that Grayson got the lineup wrong. I surely believe
exactly.
That's the 100% case.
Yeah, so the point is as you said, Rahul, Seva up front makes no sense. That's not, again, he's not a one-man striking army sort of say. Curtis Main showed when he came on what he's capable of. The question is if it might have made more sense to put someone wide, maybe Bhutia on that side, Shiva Shakti on the left, and Curtis Main up front, and Ryan Williams maybe on the bench. I don't know, maybe that might have worked. And you have to look at that your three-man midfield, which was purely destructive, didn't have a good game. And I felt Suresh wasn't wasn't sharp. The strength of Suresh Wangjam is that he's sharp, he's on point. The same thing about Rohit Kumar towards the end of the season. They looked sluggish to me.
That's the one thing for surprise for me is if you look at the starting 11, he got it wrong also because Siva Sakti is coming from injury, Suresh Wangjam is coming from injury, Rohit Kumar has not great in this you can say last couple of matches for India also. He's look little bit off. रोशन सिंह इज आल्सो कमिंग फ्रॉम इंजरी. फिर आप देखिए रायन विलियम्स फर्स्ट टाइम खेल रहे हैं आईएसएल में, जैसल कार्नेरियो न्यू है. तो आपने जो लास्ट कोर ग्रुप था उसमें से आपने जावी को मौका नहीं, आई थिंक जावी को ना खिलाना, आई थिंक वो उसका सबसे बड़ा मिस्टेक था.
But I said that to you guys last night. I had the feeling that he will play Vindor. He will play that guy and he will not play Javi because that is in his mindset. Right? So, but he has to change, and that's the question. Is he able to change? This is the question with coaches and the style that they like to play. You will not be able to change Jose Mourinho. You will not. Diego Simeone will not change his style. Pep Guardiola, whatever happens, will always play attacking. But the point is with the way BFC has been built over the last 10 years, the way the club wants to play, I don't know. It just doesn't fit, and that's a question. Again, I saw Gazab. I saw that you said that you think he could be gone before Christmas. I do believe he's in danger, but the question is, will he do what he's been doing, or will Simon Grayson change his style?
But sir, biggest question is if he's doing similar kind of things today and he got result, then management will back him up, or they will still sack him. That's the biggest question, because last time what they do is at the end of the moment when they are ready for sacking and result were coming, then he decide they put a plan on hold. So again this time will they do that? Because
football,
you
right?
have to make the choice now. You have to make the choice now.
Exactly, Rahul, you're saying it. It's a reality. Again, you live. Sometimes you live from match to match. You can say I'm planning for the next 2-3 years. No. In a league, you very often live from match to match.
Yes.
Again, Grayson was physically nearly gone, but he started getting the results. And you didn't stop it. Why? Because you got to an ISL final. I mean, let's be honest, BFC was not an ISL final candidate last season. And
exactly.
But the point is, with the players I have, Javi Hernandez is one of the best creative midfielders in this league.
Correctly.
I have to use him. And the question is, how am I setting up my backline? And that's another question is, do I have the right players for my backline? You are shuffling around. Roshan in the end was playing attacking left, right? So you're trying, and this is something this season you don't have the time to really settle down and get your team going. Because the quality this season is higher than it was last season. So BFC, if things don't change quickly, they'll have a tough one. And again, yes, I think in a match like this, in an atmosphere like this, you miss a Sunil Chhetri. No one can tell me that BFC did not miss him today, because even if the whole stadium is booing, Sunil would not care. Sunil would play his game, and it would most probably motivate him even more to get something out for his team. And that is something with this whole Asian Games fiasco. We go back to the point is that these teams, some of the teams have been robbed of players, which will impact the first 2 weeks of the Indian Super League, which again might impact the whole season of a team.
Correct.
But
Ronavula, before Hiren says, but BFC, agar today Sunil would have not played today's game for India, then India would have been also in a bit of problem. So it's a balance actually.
but it proves a point, right? It proves a point of where we stand at international football, that we cannot send an under 23 or under 24 team without a Sunil Chhetri. Big respect to Sunil. Big respect that he's put it on him to go to China to play these games, and lead this team. It again, to me, it just shows where we stand. Whatever people say, there's a long way to go for Indian football. Whoever says that. And if we don't wake up to reality, I always call it La La Land. we have to get somewhere, right? And this is the next step, the next higher step, the next level. And it's not just the men's. Look at even the women's, right? Under 17s lost 8-0 the other day against South Korea, 4-0 today against Thailand. The women were at least leading against Chinese Taipei, but lost in the end 2-1. So there's a lot of work to be done. And we're still talking about the men's game. We're not talking about the women's game, where I still feel that the women's are closer, which shows if you're losing 2-1 against Chinese Taipei, you're close to the top 5 of Asian women's football. So these are the discussions we should be having in Indian football. Again, today, I said that a little earlier to Akshata, who's in the background. Thank you for taking in the background and doing the work for us. Thank you, Akshata, for that. And not only from me, but I think from all of us 4 who are now chatting over here. I said the ISL this season started without one sponsorship package sold. That is the reality of Indian football. Hey, Luis, you're saying we are 102. No, we are not 102. We think we are 102. Right? Reality is, I still believe we're between 120 and 130. Are we better than Belarus, Guatemala, New Zealand, and all these countries that are there? We need a reality check. We need to stop bullshitting ourselves that we are here, we're there. We need to really wake up to realities of where Indian football stands. The ISL has gone into its 10th season. And I was telling a little earlier on Shine's show, who was doing a watch along. I was there, pitchside, on the 12th of October, 2014, when the ISL started. If you saw everything, not only Kolkata, you saw it in Kochi, you saw it in Navi Mumbai, you saw it across India, Goa, Chennai, everywhere. The question needs to be asked, what have we achieved over the last 9 years? Infrastructure, much better. Stadiums, training facilities, yes. Television broadcast, world class, no doubt about it. But what is the quality on the pitch? Can it be that if BFC is missing a certain 39-year-old, that has such an impact on the team that they're unlikely to get a comeback? These are the questions that we should be asking, not only ourselves, but all of you should be asking. We know, we should know that the people who are trying to sell Indian football are trying their best, but they're unable to sell it at the moment. And that question needs to be asked. It's the same set of people we are discussing with, who are watching things, but are those the lakhs, the crores, the millions that a lot of people are claiming?
We had this, me and Akshata had the same discussion during this India Women's versus Chinese Taipei watch along. There are a lot of huge buzz in the social media about Indian football, but why not any brand interested to invest in the Indian football?
Why, if you are a corporate, I asked you, I asked Cheyenne, I asked Rao, all you three are rich corporate guys, you have crores, and you are a football fan, and you say, I am marketing people, I am a football mein sponsorship karna chahte hu. Ask all three of you, if you have the crores, would you do it? And be honest. All three of you, be honest.
Maybe not.
Yeah, probably not.
Shan?
No chance. I told you.
So that is the sad reality. That is the sad reality. Akshata is asking the question regarding Hero. Yeah. Hello is perfect example. Right? If you're trying to do it, brilliant. And that's the request we can only do to ourselves, everybody else. Try and promote it amongst your family and friends.
Yeah.
Anurag's point is also a valid point.
it's again opening ceremony, yes or no. Again, I don't know what the broadcast in India was. I was watching it, of course, on the international broadcast in One Football.
नहीं था सर.
I only saw I didn't see any pre-match, halftime, post-match analysis in regard to a
नहीं था.
studio and someone. It was only the commentator and Paul Macefield. So you
Hmm.
see, again, people talk about the growth of Indian football. These are the realities of Indian football. People who are handling it. It is, again, to run the ISL is not easy. But if you look at with what aims Mrs. Ambani wanted to start the ISL, how it started with a bang. I remember in 2014, before Diwali, the whole of Mumbai was plastered with placards of Ye Diwali Football Wali. Freddie Ljungberg still makes that joke when he sees me, Ye Diwali Football Wali, because that was one of the catchphrases of that. So these are the things that happened in 2014. We're now in season 10. Again, it looks stylish, it looks good, but have we really improved? And that is introspection. Doesn't happen. And that is the biggest concern that I have for Indian football going forward, because corporates will, maybe this next season, the season after, they'll say, why should I invest in Indian football? Or why should I move up the levels? FC Bengaluru United, good example. In the end, they were allowed to go to the I-League. The Jindals were allowed to go to the I-League with the team, different Jindals, not JSW. They opted out and said, no, we will not come in, because we don't think that the ground realities of where Indian football stands, especially financially, is something where we want to invest. So I hope things change. I wish things change. But these are the realities. Sorry, I became furious, Harry. Sorry. हिरेन बोलो भाई, ऐड करो.
आपने मतलब ऑलमोस्ट सारी चीजें सम अप कर दी है. एंड मतलब सही बात है कि हम देखिए इसमें बिल्कुल आपकी बात सही है, लाला लैंडी है, क्योंकि हमको जो इंडियन फुटबॉल फैंस है या फिर जो इंडियन फुटबॉल को चला रहे हैं, उनको लग रहा है कि मतलब लोग इंटरेस्टेड. सच बताओ तो मतलब नहीं है लोग इंटरेस्टेड उतना जितना हम एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं, देख रहे हैं, या फिर वो सारी चीजें. क्योंकि लोगों आज का बांग्लादेश का मैच देख के आप बता दो मेरे को कि कौन मतलब जो है अभी इंडियन फुटबॉल फैंस, वो भी देखना बंद कर देगा. बांग्लादेश का मैच देख के आप वो भी बंद कर देगा. तो दैट्स द रियलिटी कि आप नहीं कर पा रहे हो लोगों को उस तरह से, जो मतलब जैसे अनुराग भाई ने बोला, या फिर ईपीएल के आप यूरोपियन फुटबॉल फैंस को आप देख रहे हो, तो वो नहीं आ रहे हैं उस तरह से जो हम चाहते हैं. एंड देयर आर लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स दैट नीड्स टू बी चेंज. एग्री 100%. एंड आई थिंक मतलब क्या बोलते कि आई डोंट थिंक सो कि मतलब हम तो यहाँ पे फैंस तो चलो मतलब बात कर ही रहे हैं, लेकिन इसके बारे में आई थिंक अगर जो लोग हैंडल कर रहे हैं वो भी थोड़ा सा आई थिंक इसके बारे में बात करेंगे, तो आई थिंक दैट विल बी द मोर यू कैन से कि थोड़ा सा ये जो चीजें है वो शायद आगे जाके चेंज हो सकती है. अदरवाइज तो मतलब ये हम सब एक दूसरे के ऊपर क्या बोलते कि ये उसके ऊपर करता रहेगा, ये उसके ऊपर चलता ही रहेगा ऐसा तो वाली चीज है.
नेवर एंडिंग प्रोसेस हो जाए.
हाँ, नेवर एंडिंग प्रोसेस है.
Shine, your take?
We were very, very disappointed. Actually, I didn't had that buzz this year at ISL starting. Kerala Blasters fans का अटेंडेंस के वजह से थोड़ा, वीरेन आप मेरे से सहमत हो गए, उसके थोड़ा बज क्रिएट हुआ है. कोई बज नहीं है आज, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट. लेट्स बी प्रैक्टिकल. कोई बज नहीं था. देयर वाज नो बज. इनफैक्ट टुडे हम लोग ये जब भी शो भी किया, वी वर डूइंग द वॉच अलोंग्स. जियो सिनेमा में पता नहीं चलता कितने आदमी स्ट्रीम देख रहे हैं, बट केबीएफसी का मैच था, मोस्ट प्रॉब्ली ज्यादा हो सकता है, बट उसको छोड़ के 10th सीजन काफी मेरे को डिसअपॉइंट किया इन टर्म्स ऑफ द प्रमोशन एंड एवरीथिंग. स्पोर्ट्स 18 एज एन ऑब्वियसली उन्होंने अपना कोशिश किया होगा, बट मेरे को स्टार वाला जो फीलिंग था वो फीलिंग इस बार नहीं मिला टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट. इन रोड में देयर वाज नो कट आउट इन द रोड राइट नाउ. कोई देयर इज नो कट आउट. कुछ बात ही नहीं हो रहा था. अरे हम लोग बात करते हैं और कुछ आदमी सुन लेते हैं, यही बात है।
I feel, Shine, correct me if I'm wrong. I have a feeling in Kolkata there is more buzz around the CFL than around the ISL,
yes,
the Calcutta
correct.
Football League, and that is the scary part. Yeah. Rahul, how's in Bangalore? Are you feeling that the ISL kicked off today, or you're on mute, Rahul?
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, at least in my friend groups, I think there is a buzz. I think there was a little bit of excitement. I think there are families who have kind of taken to Indian football in the last few weeks. I don't know what the reason is. Probably just general interest in football is growing in Bangalore. It's usually just going
Is
up
it that, or
every year.
is it the India Games, the SAF Championship, which I felt there was a buzz in the
Potentially,
city at the time.
100%. Because I think what I did see at that point was a lot of families coming out to those games, which I hadn't seen previously in the country. It was mostly the youngsters, the college-going crowd who would turn up, school-going crowd who would turn up and watch these games. But I saw a lot of families turn up for the SAF games, and I think those fans have kind of carried on, and they're like, okay, fine, there's something here. So I think relatively, I'd say in Bangalore there was an anticipation, at least in my close circles. I can say that there was anticipation compared to like previously. Yeah.
No need to ask for me,
Well,
I think.
Some very interesting points that are in the chat. Shine, can you answer? Was the match available on DD Bangla today? Do you know that by any chance?
It was available.
It was available, right? So then we have Abhishek asking about the humidity factor. Did it impact the BFC team? You go into these games, you know that in Bangalore it will be humid. Sorry, not in Bangalore. In Kochi it will be humid. In Kolkata it will be humid. Potentially Bhubaneswar as well. You know that, and it was raining quite heavily through most of the match. The ground was very good. I don't know if you observed it, but despite all the rain, the ground held really, it looked really, really good. So I don't think that the weather conditions were that much of an impact. I would say, at least. I don't know what you guys think.
I think we are blessed with amazing weather in Bangalore.
That is a fact. I saw that in the SAF Cup. I remember the SAF Cup final, standing on the top tier. I was actually feeling cold, in July. So you guys have a very special weather, but I think the players are, they've traveled a lot and they're accustomed to those weather conditions, I would think. Shan?
Yeah. And anyway,
no, I think there is no room for excuses for this weather, and this is something people need to adjust. And this is something in India. It's not up. They're not gone to play in a place where climate is totally different. In India, it's not so far also. I admit that Bengaluru's climate is very, very pleasant, and everybody, or I think many of the people in Kolkata, they stay right now over there because what I hear, the weather is quite nice there. But that, as a professional, as a player, you should be able to adjust to this condition. There is no complaint for the weather, at least. A player cannot make a complaint on the weather. That's the last thing.
Anurag's point about the new camera angles. Did any one of you watch it on Geo Cinema by any chance?
Yes. I have watched it on Geo Cinema. I
tried
multiple. सही अच्छा I think. लेकिन मजा तो मतलब इसी में आता है, जो ये कैमरा होता है उसी में। वो आपको एक मतलब जब गोल हो तो उसको देखना है, या फिर कोई टैकल हुआ उसको देखने के लिए वो सही है। आप पूरा मैच अगर उससे देखोगे तो आपको कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा, मतलब कि किस तरह से फिर गेम चल रहा है।
You will get more confused, ना?
हाँ, कंफ्यूज हो जाते हो, सही बात है। गोल या फिर टैकल हो या फिर कोई ऐसी चीज हो तो आपको उस एंगल से, आप मतलब डिफरेंट एंगल से ट्राई करोगे तो मजा आएगा। बट ज्यादा उसका मतलब उससे आप पूरा मैच नहीं दे सकते। बेसिकली मोमेंट्स, आप कुछ मोमेंट्स है जो आपको देखने हैं डिफरेंट एंगल से, बस उसके लिए है। काफी सारे लोग बोल रहे थे कि क्या बोलते हैं, लैपटॉप में फुल एचडी क्वालिटी में शायद थोड़ा सा वो हो रहा था, मतलब
हैंग हो रहा था क्या?
हैंग नहीं, क्वालिटी जो आनी चाहिए
अच्छा
नहीं आ रही थी।
So that is not the problem of the broadcaster,
Broadcaster,
but I would think it's more has to do with your internet bandwidth.
bandwidth.
So that is always a point.
इसका ये that's youth Indian का great question कि every team is investing at least 40 crore per year, but is the growth happening at that level, going or proper way? इसमें सर I think 5-6 महीने हो गए इससे आकाश टंडन जब CEO थे, अभी तो वो भी तो क्या बोलते स्टेप डाउन कर गए. उन्होंने स्टेटमेंट दिया था कि हमने प्लान बनाया था जब एफसी को स्टार्ट किया तो नेक्स्ट 10 ईयर्स में प्रॉफिटेबल होना, लेकिन जो अभी कंडीशन है तो अभी तो नहीं हो पाया है. तो उन्होंने बोला कि अभी हम ट्राई करेंगे कि नेक्स्ट 10 ईयर्स. तो कब तक ये जो मतलब जो भी बड़े ये सब क्लब्स के ओनर्स है जिन्होंने पैसा डाला है, कब तक ये वेट करेंगे कि दे आर पुटिंग पोरिंग मनी ऑन दी यू कैन से इंडियन फुटबॉल, और या फिर ये आउट ऑफ पैशन हो रहा है? क्या लग रहा है आपको कि भाई पैशन है उनमें इसलिए वो सारी चीजें चल रही है, या फिर एक टाइम आएगा कि भाई वो भी अभी जैसे मल्टीपल क्लब्स हमने देखा है कि बंद भी हो गए हैं?
See, the point is, there are people who are willing to spend money. But after 3 to 5 years of investment, people will say, okay, I've invested, let's say 200, 300 crores. Now that money needs to roll. There needs to be money coming in and then it needs to cover its own cost. We are nowhere close to that. That is the biggest risk for club football in India. Commercial viability. We are far, far away from commercial viability. Correct. And you see that if the league is unable to get any sponsor on match day one. We've had it in the last 2-3 seasons. I give them the credit. It was during COVID bubble, this, that, everything. It was difficult. But the point here is, without being able to sell TV rights, and they were in the market. They were asking for 550 crores for 2 years. Nobody came forward. And this is what I've been saying. Again, a lot of people have trolled me for that. I've said Indian football rights are valueless, are of zero value. Anyone who says anything else, come and challenge me on that. Tell me which TV rights are being sold for money. And it is a very, very difficult situation that there are franchisees who've been there since 2014, that they have spent 300, 400, 500 crores with no returns. The sponsorships are paltry. And I remember on Shine's channel, we have had this discussion with fans who are saying the fans are so important. How much are the fans contributing? Kerala Blasters, as you can say, look at the jersey, a lot of sponsors. All of them are wearing yellow jerseys, originals, not fake. So there's a little bit coming in. But even the Blasters, due to the fine for their walkout, had to shut down the women's team and are spending less on their youth development. So that's the challenge that Indian football has at club level. But I give... just one point. Tell me. I just want to add one thing. I give credit to everyone that everyone who's spending money. And Sports 18, Youth Indian, they are not giving 400 crores. It's a zero deal. I don't know where you have that info from, but there is no 400 million which is going anywhere. So everyone who's spending money, hats off. Shan.
Unoda, I want to add to your point also, and I want to ask you the question also here. Unoda, then what's the way forward? That's was saying there are many clubs who are not even close to break even. As you correctly said, the Kerala Blasters, at least in some ways, are very close. They can hit the break even if they plan it better at the end. They can mine out the expenses in coming times. So, don't you think in this way that many in coming times more and more clubs will shut down, and that would lead that this ISL, which we are talking about, is in the 10th season, will have a very tough time in next 3 or 4 years? What do you think about it?
See, it's not an ISL question. We've had that since the days of NHL, NFL and I-League. You know, we've had Mahindra United shutting down, JCT shutting down, Dempo exiting the league. Sporting Club de Goa, Salgaocar, all these clubs have gone out. We've had Delhi shutting down. Delhi would have shut down completely if the Odisha government did not come forward to relocate the club to Odisha. And Pune City would have not relocated to Hyderabad if not a new ownership group tried to do something, who are struggling every year. That. So these realities are there. Is there a short-term fix? No, there is only one fix, and that is try to find means and ways of how to generate revenue via television. But if you see also that the television is cutting down, if you see the broadcast, again, you've got more cameras, nice, and you've got more options, nice. But you're cutting down on your personal. That to me is another cost cutting, right? And that's not a good sign. Because the broadcaster then it is going to be tough.
Correct.
आई थिंक टॉपिक हमने पूरा राहुल इधर से उधर चले गए.
Well, that's fine. Okay, fine. Before we wrap up, guys, final thoughts on the game. Do you think Simon Grayson can turn it around? Hiren?
I think it was a first match, so that's why I think उतना ज्यादा मतलब क्या बोलते कि बेनिफिट ऑफ डाउट मिल जाएगा फर्स्ट मैच से. लेट्स सी सेकंड मैच में किस तरह से वो रिएक्ट करता है एंड किस टेक्टिक के साथ आता है. अगर सेकंड मैच में भी सेम मिस्टेक करता है देन आई थिंक डेफिनेटली देयर विल बी सम यू कैन से कि जो मतलब अभी हम बात कर रहे थे शायद वो सारी चीजें फिर आगे जाके शेप ले सकती है. अदरवाइज तो आई थिंक फर्स्ट मैच था एंड जैसे बोला सर ने कि आई थिंक सुनील सर होता तो आई थिंक दैट विल बी आई थिंक एक वो आप कर सकते थे रिकवरी और सारी चीज. आई थिंक उतना ज्यादा मतलब ये नहीं है कि मतलब सब कुछ खत्म हो गया है, ऐसी चीजें नहीं है. मतलब इट्स जस्ट द बिगिनिंग, तो पहला ही मैच है एंड दैट हैपेंस. तो ऐसा वाली बात नहीं है. और दोनों गोल ऐसा नहीं है कि मतलब केरला ब्लास्टर ने आउटस्टैंडिंग बिल्डअप करके कर दिए हो, तो उतना भी वो कोई डरने की बात है नहीं. तो आई थिंक बेंगलुरु फैंस को थोड़ा सा मतलब डेफिनेटली आर्क राइवल से आप हारते हो तो थोड़ा सा वो होता है कि मतलब ये चीजें ठीक करनी है. लेकिन आई थिंक दे विल रिकवर. एज वी ऑल नो कि लास्ट सीजन भी आप देखिए कि पूरा फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ द सीजन उन्होंने बेकार खेला था और फिर उन्होंने एक बार वो आए तो फिर मतलब रुके ही नहीं सेकंड हाफ में आप देखिए. तो आई थिंक हो सकता है. और केरला ब्लास्टर के लिए भी ऐसा नहीं है कि एक ये मैच जीत गए तो सारी चीजें उनके लिए सोल्व हो चुकी है. देयर इज आल्सो लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स जो उनको भी अभी एड्रेस करने हैं. सो लेट्स सी आई थिंक कौन मोमेंटम यहाँ से गया बना के रखता है. दैट्स द मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट थिंग इन लीग. सो लेट्स सी बोथ द टीम्स हाउ गोइंग टू come up in the second match of there.
Yeah, fair enough. Shan, how do you see these guys? These teams fare? I know we've barely gotten to see them, but based on what you've seen,
I think BFC is, if they've lost today's game, then also I'll put BFC ahead in this race of ISL in comparison with KBFC. BFC is one of the top teams to be in the top 6. Blasters needs to get good results against some of the teams who are quite sure will do good in top 3 or 4 teams. So that will be very detrimental for them to advance to the top 6. And what's going by the first match, or we have discussed it before also, this ISL 10 would be one of the competitive seasons of the ISL history, what I can feel. And we can't predict anybody. I think barring 1, 2 or 3 teams, all of the teams can be part of top 6. So it will be very, very, it's an open league right now, and good coaches and technicians are on display right now. And as you said, Simon Grayson's job, I don't want to comment because last year also after January everything changed. So and you have to give it to him that this guy has took you to 3 finals of in a single season and got you 1 trophy last year. So one match is too less a time to conclude on what he can do and whatever. But today, he made some tactical blunders, and that caused BFC. I must say. But overall, game was good. KBFC played really well. Thank you.
yeah. Anna,
Grayson has a tricky one, next one up, which is in Kolkata versus Mohun Bagan Supergiant. And that is one. Mohun Bagan away in itself is difficult. So for me, the question is, how does Grayson play the next match? I think he will learn his lessons from this. The question is, how do you structure it? Because I don't know if he has trust in an Indian centre back to come in and play with either Damjanovic or with Jovanovic. That is one. Can I free up a space for an attacking player? Can I use Curtis Main in a proper way? And how do I use my young Indian brigade? Because there was some interesting, Patra and all came in. There's some interesting young players in BFC. So therefore that's an interesting one. The BFC puzzle is going to be interesting, and that's something that again, they've only played one match. It's too early to say anything, but that puzzle has to somehow work for BFC, and that's going to be the question. For KBFC on the other side, you saw a lot of potential. They have a lot of potential which was not there to me. To me, the question is, if Leskovic is fit, if Rahul KP comes back, Diamantakos is another one who, if he's back, KBFC should be better. But today, again, one was an own goal and the other one was gifted by the keeper. So they didn't score actually from their own or open play or a dead ball situation. So therefore they still have to prove something. So these are all factors which I find very interesting going in. And again, it's the first game. So hopefully it's gonna go better than this. And again, it's a long season ahead and a lot of matches to be played in the coming weeks and months.
Before we wrap up again, Kumar, thanks for the update. Apparently Curtis Main had a nickel and that's probably why he didn't start. But
what about the Xavi? But
think
the main player was Xavi.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I think the point of discussion was how we should have started. Probably we had three midfielders who were defensive minded, and that just didn't help the case. So it'll be interesting to see how he fits Harvey and Curtis Main in coming games. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. This has been our post-match review of Kerala Blasters versus BFC. First game of the ISL season. We'll be back day after tomorrow. I don't think we have a game tomorrow.
No, tomorrow's game got cancelled because of Sandesh Jingan going off to China to play for India. So therefore, no Hyderabad versus FC Goa. So Saturday, the ISL is back with the first double-header. Odisha versus Chennai FC. Chennai FC looked good in the Duran Cup. Odisha did not look good at all, to be honest, against Mohun Bagan. And then I look forward, Mohun Bagan Super Giant versus the debutants Punjab FC. So they've made some interesting signings to strengthen. So therefore, Super Saturday, so to say, and Sunday sees Northeast United hosting Mumbai City
FC.
So that's going to be another interesting one. So an interesting weekend to look forward to of Indian Super League football. So we will certainly be back and doing previews, analyzing, also of course watch-alongs. Harry, how many did Hiren, how many did you do today?
I did today 1, 2, 3 मतलब तीसरा मैं पूरा नहीं कर पाया क्योंकि मैं बहुत आज थक गया था, तो मैंने हाफ टाइम तक ही किया केरला ब्लास्टर वर्सेस बेंगलुरु एफसी. फिर मैंने सोचा वैसे भी पोस्ट मैच कर रहे हैं.
So that Shayan also did the watch along here for the Indian Super League match. So do follow the channels Curious Harry, Indian Food and Football, and of course SportsKhabri as well as Arun Foot. Do share, like, subscribe, and keep spreading the word. Make the community bigger. Then we try to give you an honest opinion on what we think is right or what is wrong. Maybe others don't. So therefore, do follow us, and we'll be back very, very soon. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.